6:21 here in St. Louis. Let's go to Boston, Massachusetts. ABC News correspondent Chris Trenkmann. Chris, thank you for joining us. You were near the bombings yesterday?
I was a block and a half away when the explosions took place. Walking from the finish line on Boyle Street, I was in town because my brother was running in the race, and so we had just left where he had completed the race, and we were walking southbound on Exeter Street when the first explosion happened. And instinctively, I turned around, as did my relatives and everybody around us, in fact. And 10 seconds later, the second bomb went off, and that's when panic set in. And that's when people just started running, including myself.
So after that first bomb, people just thought it was a loud boom for some reason?
It was jarring. I mean, you could tell it was certainly something more than just a car running into a lamppost or something. It vibrated the pavement. I mean, we're talking about city streets. So it was significant. And I'll be honest with you. I mean, one of the thoughts that ran through my head was this a bomb? I mean, I think in the post-9/11 world, there's just a greater sensitivity to the idea that we can be attacked and there can be terrorist acts. And so it did cross my mind. But once the second explosion happened and the people started running and we could see the white smoke starting to drift across the street, where Boylston Street was and the runners were running, that's when it was very clear that something terrible had happened.
Chris, do we have any idea, either from your eyewitness account or from what officials are telling us, how?
That's all still under investigation, of course. And they immediately after the explosions took place, people were frantically trying to make cell phone calls, and it wasn't possible. And one of the reasons for that was, as a security measure, they shut off cell service, at least in a limited fashion, because there was the speculation that this kind of explosive may have been triggered by a cell phone. But as far as the sophistication and the details of what kind of explosives they were, that's still under investigation. They do not think, based on the material that they found on the injured people and in the immediate area surrounding the explosion, that this was a bomb that had, say, pieces installed like BBs or certain sort of what they call a dirty bomb that could be used to cause additional damage to people. They think the injuries and the damage from the explosion was from a traditional explosive device. They don't have any evidence that there was additional pieces placed on the explosive to cause more damage than would ordinarily happen from an explosive. But as far as exactly what kind of device it was, that's still being looked into.
The Atlanta bombings during the Olympics, that bomber put nails in that package. And then I heard some stories that there were some ball bearings, as you might have heard yesterday. But you're saying that there is no evidence of anything like that. It was just more or less of an explosion.
Right, because when they interviewed the medical professionals who were treating the victims, they were asked if they had found material like that on the injured people, and that's where you would expect to find those kinds of things. And they didn't find that. What they found was shrapnel and things related to a regular bomb blast that you would expect. So in that instance, in that particular case, that leads them to believe, at least at this point, that it was some traditional type of explosive device. But of course, this is still being under investigation. They're not going to speculate 100%. We don't have official word on that. And there may be more evidence that they find as they do their investigation today in the cordoned off area by where the explosions took place. They may find more evidence that may change their opinion on that.
ABC News correspondent Chris Trenkmann with us, who was a block away from the bombings when it occurred. Chris, in terms of the investigation, there was a whole lot of speculation and talk, and everyone's heard something that's heard something that somebody told them. But from what I understand, the overnight news, the police and the officials are saying that they have no one in custody. Is that correct?
That's right. And what we've heard is that there was a search warrant executed at a location in the Boston area. We had also heard that a 20-year-old may have been questioned in connection to this case, but that is not official word, and that is not something that they're prepared to confirm at this point. Those are just reports that we're getting about what's going on with the investigation. So at this time, there is no one that has officially been arrested or is in custody and is being blamed, in effect, for this attack.
And no one has taken credit, or no one has come forward claiming that they were the cause behind this.
Well, that's right, McGraw, and that's one of the big questions people have this morning as they're getting up and going to work. Why did they target Boston? Why did they choose Patriots Day? Why did they choose one of the most celebrated events in this city, the 117th running of the Boston Marathon? Those are things that a lot of people want answers to at this point, because when you think about it, this was one of the more celebrated days in the Boston area. There's a Boston Red Sox game that was played early on Monday. People here were congratulating these runners, all of whom have to qualify for this race. I mean, this is one of the more prestigious marathons in the world. And then to have this event happen on that day is just very frustrating and very baffling for a lot of the people here.
And your heart breaks with the news of that 8-year-old boy, as well as the 3 who have passed away, including the 8-year-old boy. And now the injuries are up to 140. Chris, before I let you go, it wasn't just a Boston Marathon. I think 92 different countries are represented in the race. So in a sense, it's a world event, and from what we're hearing, the outpouring of emotion and the outpouring of support is truly extraordinary from the people of Boston.
Absolutely. This is an international event for sure. And, of course, the winners of the race are from other countries. Many of the top contestants come from other parts of the world. But it's not just the elite runners that you see on television and in the results and the standings for the race. So many of the participants, 27,000, were here from all over the world. One of the frustrating things, McGraw, is the fact that because of the explosion, 4,000 runners didn't actually cross the finish line. I mean, many people had trained in some cases for years and made the trip to Boston and weren't able to finish because of this explosion attack that happened, and certainly those people are very disappointed, and frankly, there's a lot of outrage.
I've heard that MIT has opened up their showers and their couches for people who have been displaced. Other Bostonians are opening up their homes to people who either can't get back to their hotel or are sort of trying to hook up with friends and family who they have separated from. It's a pure community effort going on in Boston.
It's been tremendous, absolutely. I mean, the community has rushed to the help of people. Hotels here have opened their doors, offering places for people if they're in a situation where they need that. MIT, you mentioned, obviously one of the more prestigious universities in the Boston area. Overnight, on the side of one of their taller buildings, lit up an American flag in lights in the windows. Really kind of a touching gesture by the school and really captured, I think, some of the emotions of people here. When these kinds of things happen, people rally together, and it brings out a lot of the patriotism of people here. And that certainly was a nice touch. You'll see it in the photographs and all over the television, that lit up building with the American flag.
He was right next to the bombing yesterday when it took place. Chris Trenkmann, ABC News correspondent. Thank you for your insights, Chris, and be safe.
Thank you. Good morning.
6:30 here on the Big 550 KTRS.